Hey, good morning, Mizzou fans. Gabe DeArmond here, PM in the AM for Thursday, July 24th. We are just 4 days away from the start of football practice, a little over a month away from the start of the 2025 football season. So we are getting into it. We've spent a lot of time this spring and summer looking at positions and personnel and what could go right and what could go wrong and all of that. I want to take a little bit different approach to that this morning in looking at the 2025 Missouri football season. We're going to talk about Mizzou's record in close games, and it has been unbelievable. Under Eli Drinkwitz, 17-7 overall. But in the last 2 years, Missouri is 21-5 overall. In one-score games, Missouri is 10-1. I want to run through all of them real quickly for you guys. 2 years ago, 2023, the Middle Tennessee State game, they win by 4. There was a fumble late there near midfield. The Kansas State game, they win by 3, obviously on the 61-yard Mevis field goal. The Memphis game, they won by 7. That was one of those. It finished as a one-score game. Didn't really feel like a one-score game. Florida, they beat 33-31. That happens on 4th and 17, obviously. Missouri 4-1 in one-score games in the 2023 season. But then 2024, it went to another level even. Boston College, 27-21. Again, another one that it never really felt like Missouri was going to lose, but BC was close enough throughout that could have made a game of it. Vandy, 30-27 in overtime with the very makeable missed field goal from Vanderbilt. Auburn 21-17. We all know about that. The Brady Cook coming out of the hospital game. Oklahoma 30-23 takes a scoop and score and a 75-yard touchdown drive in the last 4 minutes. They then lose one at South Carolina on a last-second touchdown. Beat Arkansas 28-21. A game that, it could have lost, certainly, but won that game. And then Iowa 27-24 was the final score there. Obviously, very close game throughout in the Music City Bowl. So I just wanted to run through them all and kind of lay it out because I think this is a big question for Missouri going into this year. We always focus on, I think the tendency last year is to focus on, well, that one play against South Carolina, that's the difference between 10-2 and 9-3. And if they're 10-2, are they in the playoff talk and all that? Well, we kind of tend to gloss over, hey, Vandy missed a very makeable field goal and, all these other things that happen in these one-score games that turn out going your team's way. We credit the team for those, and then when we say, the ones they lost are a little bit more bad luck, whatever. And so we don't tend to look at the downside. 10-1 over the last 2 years. And I want to be clear, Eli Drinkwitz and Missouri deserve a lot of credit for it. No question. I do think there is some skill involved in being good in a one-score game. You don't panic and you make plays when the game is on the line. But I also look at 10-1 and have to wonder, hey, is there some regression to the mean coming here? Like, are we going back to a little bit closer to what you would expect in one-score games, which even if you're a good team in a one-score game, I don't think anybody expects 10-1. So, I mean, just look at last year. Vandy makes a field goal. Craziness doesn't happen at the end of the Oklahoma game. Then you're talking about a 7-5 season, right? And that's not that far off. The difference between 10 wins and 6 wins over the course of an entire season is going to be like 4 or 5 snaps. So just something to think about as this season approaches. I know this is the time of year everybody's optimistic and understand all the optimism. But if you're looking out there and, hey, the over-under 7.5 wins and some of these predictions have Missouri lower, all that is one thing that I think you can look at is, did they get a few more good bounces than maybe your average team over the last couple of years? And if that evens out, is that I think that could be a reason we're sitting here at the end of the year and saying, yeah, a little bit disappointing. Just something to think about. Again, I think Drinkwitz deserves a ton of credit for his record in one-score games. But I do also think you have to acknowledge there's been a little bit of good fortune involved. Appreciate you hanging out this morning. We'll try to do this one more time tomorrow morning before the start of July football camp and the 2025 season. So like, comment, share, and subscribe while you're here. Join us over at Power Mizzou, 30% off. Hang out, busiest message board on the internet for Mizzou fans, and we'd like to have you over there.